In the beginning, there was Liberty City, a concrete maze of corruption, greed, and ambition, where power shifted hands not through votes but through bullets and betrayal. The streets were alive with the thunder of muscle cars and the whispers of deals brokered in the shadows. It was here, in the late 90s, that a nameless criminal emerged, a silent force rising through the ranks of the underworld. He was a wheelman, a gun for hire, a thief navigating the chaos of gangs and crooked cops. Liberty City's boroughs bled tension, and as he took contracts, hijacked vehicles, and eliminated threats, he became the invisible pulse of a city addicted to violence. But his silence was not weakness. It was resolve. In the wake of his ascent, Liberty City convulsed, power vacuums opening and closing with each trigger pulled. And yet, it was only the beginning. Years later, across the waters in the sun-drenched streets of Vice City, a man named Tommy Vercetti stepped off a boat with a briefcase full of expectation and a legacy carved in blood. Freshly released from a 15-year prison sentence, Tommy was sent by the Forelli crime family to oversee a drug deal gone sour. Ambushed, robbed, and left humiliated, he stood under swaying palms and neon lights with nothing but a burning need to reclaim what was his. Vice City was a different beast, flamboyant, decadent, a powder keg of cocaine and corruption. With calculated brutality, Tommy clawed his way through cartels, biker gangs, and political puppets, building an empire from the ashes of betrayal. One ally at a time, one enemy silenced after another. From nightclubs to recording studios, he stitched together a criminal dynasty. By the time the sun set on his blood-stained paradise, Vercetti no longer worked for anyone. He was the king. But empires never last untouched. In the early 1990s, the saga moved west to San Andreas, a sprawling state choking on its own gang wars, media scandals, and government conspiracies. Carl Johnson returned home to Los Santos after the murder of his mother, lured back by grief and a city in ruin. The Grove Street families, once a dominant force, were fractured and faltering. Corrupt cops, rival gangs like the Ballas and Vagos, and a society rotting from within pulled CJ deeper into a war that refused to end. He stole bikes, cars, planes, anything that could move him forward. He ran from crooked cops, infiltrated casinos in Las Venturas, flew missions over deserts, and sabotaged government operations in remote mountain labs. With each step, Carl rebuilt his gang, reconnected with his broken family, and learned the rules of power in a state that ate its weak. He didn't just survive, he dominated. And when he returned to Los Santos, it was to seize the streets once more, not just for vengeance, but for legacy. The cities changed, but the blood stayed the same. Liberty, Vice, San Andreas. They were more than maps. They were battlegrounds, stages for the rise and fall of kings without crowns. In time, the cycle returned to Liberty City. Niko Bellic, an Eastern European immigrant scarred by war and betrayed by family, arrived chasing a lie, a dream of peace and prosperity whispered in emails and phone calls. Instead, he found a cousin drowning in debt, a city with no mercy, and a past that refused to die. He did jobs for mafias, corporations, and petty crooks, all while hunted by ghosts in tracksuits and uniforms. He loved, he lost, and when the smoke cleared, he was left with bloodied hands and empty promises. Not everyone could be saved. Not everything could be forgiven. But still, Niko stood, and Liberty City pulsed on, uncaring. Then came the trio Franklin Clinton, a hustler from South Los Santos trying to break out of the cycle. Michael DeSanta, a retired thief turned family man with a past that couldn't stay buried. And Trevor Phillips, a volatile psychopath with a taste for meth and murder. 3 lives, tangled in heists, betrayal, and the illusion of the American dream. Together, they ripped through Los Santos, executing government agents, robbing banks, staging elaborate hits. Each had a motive. Each had a wound. Franklin sought respect. Michael chased redemption. Trevor demanded chaos. And in the end, their choices carved a new path through a city where loyalty was rare and survival came at a cost. From silent killers to ambitious gangsters, from broken veterans to unhinged maniacs, the world of Grand Theft Auto echoed with one truth: power was taken, never given. And freedom? Freedom was just another lie told between gunshots. Beneath the glare of digital billboards and the rhythmic hum of helicopters overhead, a new breed of criminals emerged, anonymous avatars born in the age of the internet. GTA Online shattered the limits of individual legacy, giving birth to an empire without a single face. Here, nameless operators ran heists with military precision, launched businesses from arcades and nightclubs, and moved product across Los Santos with armies of armored convoys. It was no longer about one man's rise. It was a world, fluid, explosive, alive with possibility and betrayal. Friendships forged in gunfire dissolved with a single sticky bomb. Alliances were built and broken in the time it took to reload. In this boundless underworld, everything was for sale. Everything could be lost. And still, they chased it, the dream of the ultimate score, the next big job, the illusion of control. While the digital world roared with ambition, echoes of the past whispered from the coasts. Stories of cities never seen, eras never lived, legends still untold. There were whispers of a time before the neon and chaos, before the satirical reflections of America became a mirror held to the soul of the player. There was Claude, the original ghost of Liberty City, who never spoke, yet made the loudest noise. His silence became a symbol, his actions the foundation of a legacy. He carved a path of destruction without ever uttering a word, reshaping a city with each mission completed, each betrayal endured. He disappeared as suddenly as he arrived, but his presence remained etched into the pavement. Then came the era of Tony Cipriani and Salvatore Leone, of organized crime and crumbling loyalty. Liberty City in the early 2000s was a city strangled by tradition and torn by ambition. Tony returned from exile, eager to prove his worth. But in the world of the mafia, power came laced with paranoia. He fought not just rival gangs, but the expectations of men who trusted no one, not even their own blood. Amid corruption and car bombs, he rose, but even his victory tasted of ashes. Meanwhile, in the fading glamour of Vice City's past, Victor Vance lived a tale of sacrifice. A soldier pushed into the drug trade to support a sick brother, Victor's story was one of duty twisted by desperation. He built an empire from shipping docks and back-alley deals, only to be gunned down before he could escape the life he never truly chose. His death paved the way for Versetti's rise, a silent reminder that in this world, legacy was often built on graves. The timeline sprawled outward, intertwining and evolving. In Liberty City stories, in Vice City stories, every protagonist was a reflection of the world around them. Fractured, flawed, furious. Each tale was a chapter in a living document, a statement on greed, power, loyalty, and the cost of ambition. And the world watched not as players, but as participants. Because Grand Theft Auto was never just a game. It was a mirror, dark and cracked, yes, but honest. It mocked and magnified the worst of us, while seducing us with the best illusions of control. In these stories, law was malleable. Morality was optional. and the only constant was chaos. No matter the coast, no matter the era, no matter the name etched on the police blotter or carved into the side of a bunker, there was always someone new ready to take the crown. Someone faster, someone hungrier, someone worse. And somewhere, across the digital horizon, the next city awaited its king. It begins again in the silence between gunshots, in the heat shimmer above cracked asphalt, in the pause before sirens wail. A city unseen, unnamed, waits beyond the mist of memory, rumored, half-formed, but inevitable. A place not yet shaped by blood or bullets, but already echoing with ambition. The Grand Theft Auto saga was never static. Each chapter was a reinvention, not just of place or time, but of perspective, how we see crime, how we frame morality, how we define success. We saw the rise of empires. We watched them crumble. From the silent vengeance of a betrayed wheelman to the cold calculation of a former soldier, from gangland skirmishes to boardroom coups, each story wove into the next. 1,000 faces, 1,000,000 crimes, and still one unbroken thread. The pursuit of power in a world built to deny it. What began as pixelated chaos in the isometric streets of Liberty City became a mirror to modern civilization. Satire, yes, but rooted in truth. In Grand Theft Auto, the banks steal more than the robbers. The politicians lie louder than the thugs. The media spins faster than the getaway car. And still, we drive. We drive through streets lined with vice, through skylines of hypocrisy and neon promise, always chasing that last score, that final taste of freedom. But freedom in this world was never clean, came laced with consequences, soaked in betrayal. There were no heroes, only survivors, and those survivors carried the weight of their choices, sometimes with laughter, sometimes with rage, but always forward. We stood beside them. We were them. And in becoming them, we explored the edges of control and chaos, of loyalty and greed. Trevor burning a trailer park while howling into the desert night. CJ skydiving into a rooftop to reclaim his city. Tommy staring into the blue horizon, knowing the city was his and yet never truly his. Nico broken and still walking. Claude wordless and deadly. Franklin watching the world open before him with the cold clarity of ambition. Michael longing for a life that never truly existed. And us, the players, holding the controller, pressing forward. Because in the world of Grand Theft Auto, there was always another corner to turn, another shot to fire, another lie to tell. It was a world of mayhem, but also of precision. The stories were loud, but the truths were quiet. It wasn't about crime. It was about what crime revealed. About systems and symbols, about the cost of chasing what the world said we should want. And in chasing it, we found reflection. Not just of society, but of ourselves. Because every mission accepted, every innocent bypassed or harmed, every empire built or burned, those were our choices. And in Grand Theft Auto, the world never forgot them. It judged us quietly, relentlessly, but it also let us continue. It let us grow. It let us fall. And it waited always for what came next. Because somewhere, just over the horizon, the next story waits to be told. A new city, a new king, and the same old truth: power is taken, never given.